Sangye chedan zoge janam la chanchu bardo rani kyabsun bage jinzo gibe sunam gi ndola penjre sangye ndo baraj Sangye chedan zoge janam la chanchu bardo rani kyabsun bage jinzo gibe sunam gi ndola penjre sangye ndo baraj Sangye chedan sogi chanam la chanchu pardo dani kyabsun bage jinzo gibe sonam gi dola benje sangye ndubara isho saji beji chuje medo tam rizhavani jininde gembande sangye jinla mide uwa dugunanda jinla jebara isho.
From now on till enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and by the merit created in this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. From now on till enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and by the merit created in this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. From now until enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and by the merit created in this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings.
Gyachin robe nala sonam damba mi sambanam gyatu sungre oda teyin diwala chik ngaranzo jinden lap chimbi jebala tambo arangi sonam lap chimbi masana chik ni samjuna jinji jinden je yoya pe khago yore tendi sonam saide shuj ke chimbi sungwa res.
In one of these sutra, extensive elaboration, loose translation. In that sutra, Buddha says that with the merit one can accomplish the thought of others. So what Buddha is saying here is, in order to help serve others, it is important to accumulate what we commonly call positive merits.
Sensambu sumju sanyidan pejegi zambu gichu tubiyala sona masana tekete tupuya mare ngaran debada sangi ki kopang yena sangi ki kopang tubala sangi ki tsempe tubiya ki sonam sakuwa jinden jayala sonam sakuwa hindi tachik niji gomya dang en chanju ki semla ene pe payin tusu samlo dang yang niyangdu gom toaki lus chen dichibayina ngune chik chwe nyam jayla kaza mengenji
to accumulate, positive merits, both for one's own enlightenment, attaining, the Buddhahood, which consists of, 32 major signs and 80 minor signs, and also to serve, benefit, help others, accumulations of positive merits it's required. So one of the way of accumulating positive merits in the most kind of ordinary way is practice and meditating on altruistic mind, bodhicitta, or compassionate practice of compassion. And when you engage in practice meditation, you will reach to the extent where out of your own kind of understanding experiences, it doesn't require any effort.
Ani ta chik 덴데기 다 산이 고방 삼로 막땅 먹어내야 챈디기 너든 충사 지도발라 샘나 도와 와야 돼 시부식게 전부 자거도 왔어 자와 간대지나 이즉 배낭 안주 최청년제디가나 땅복 공제의 시부지 님부진 순구도 가르친 순구와 굴롱데 즉 갭기 맞춰나 자와 간대진 뚝뚝야 빼 가고 잘 거래 제자 도와키 스비갈라스 랑게 푸나 롭종지 챈디 민점 챈디 또게 돈달라 롭종지 제거이나 롭종지 제네 줍자 가르친 것도 줍자도 통을 원해 때로 도와시 기বে 거니 아니 롭종지 제바이나 롭종텔라 가지고 거야 땡리 리가라 나랑도 치마 편제니 땡기 상기기 고방 두야라 델리강 거도 거야 와다 기니기 지부대야 풀도 좋아지요래 지부 풀도 좋아요 와다 못터베 거니 지제바이나 아니 가지 중요야 두스 차거 인디가라 즉 샘딩 트로아케와라 땅보 즉 하게 줍자되기 엔 둠리되지 통 아니 텔라 트로아시기 대거네는 랑기 즉 하게 덩열제하기 굴문 순제네 상보지제와이나 즉다 리부대한 분좀 쳐봐지 용해라 누수 펜다 연구하라 대인들가라 말한수 즉 문이 땡기 하게 상기 고방기 파인되기 때 장주기 샘기 파인 많다 장주기 샘기 파인 니지 파인돼서 삼당과대 15개 첨보래 장주기 샘기 파인데 즉 너는 숨도와 장주기 샘 유점지고 나대 소남데 똥숨기 똥첨베 너데 지텐데 너전에 충충차거래 장주기 샘기 파인데 딜레기 똥숨기 똥첨베 되는 추구 말해서 숨도와 델리기 파인 첨부지 영인지나 가서 가르치는 공부와 말해 나랑도 장주 생기 파인도 통고와 말해 장주 있으면 또 아끼고 말해 이 마디 갈라다 즉 치실질레로 이일루벨레로 덴데 왕기 다 치시 잡네 독스진에 레교와 덴디갈라 즉 문에 덴데기 덴샤교 중도서가 전주기 장주기 샘기 파인도서 라와다 15개 점 아니 당보 때문에나 당보 이틀아 과샤라 가보래 지가 가로 과차게 차게 되니 즉 과르시 레야도와 어다 되는데 장주기 샘생데 시부지 펜다 납치 못 펜다 좀 어다 전주기 리우 당보도 장주기 샘 파인 시부 숨도 와 되는 문주기 개발도 숨도 와 어다 된데기 개발해야 돼 어다 되는데가 단다디 중대양 아주 장주기 샘 간데시 개구예 장주기 샘께는 펜도 가려야 돼 중기 딱 터두근 디부디 시거래 로 종세데 르 미남 갓게야 그 가자레 마도 직 진다 게마레 어디 되는지가라 나랑 장주기 샘슬이 닉파 남바 갸첨부로 장주기 샘기 직 하게 샘전 가격기 샘전을 미네 어디 디 둥알 세야기 순구에데 시우지 납첨부 차디요 어디 되는지가라 가산 시야기 참데 다저니가 다저니게난 다 니게나네 빼고는 녀박가와데 송사르다 아들이 리뷰거니 녀박가 어떻게 두스니 드리만 되는 로도 호세
having a joy or sense of happiness, it's important in whatever activities that we do, doing out of joy or with a great interest, and in order to make that happen, what is important is understanding of the ultimate objective result of whatever things that you are doing. So in ordinary kind of common in our livelihood, we work for whatever ambition is we try to do something, maybe for fame or maybe, to make money. But when we engage in the activities, it becomes much more easier, especially with the seeing of the end result. When we see the end result, and then you know that this is what you're going to attain. And that kind of, seeing the end result will generate your strong interest and desire. And when you engage with a strong interest and desire, the very act that, or the effort that you are making, it becomes much more easier. So same thing applies with the, the practice of, Buddhist practice. So therefore, we always emphasize in Buddhist practice importance of the motivation at the beginning, generating a very strong positive thought or motivation, so that whatever practice that follows up, it becomes easier, more spontaneous. And that kind of interest is needed in mundane activities. So of course, it is still kind of more needed when we talk about attaining enlightenment, attaining a result which is absolutely a kind of pure or enlightened. And so in the practice of Buddhism also, it is important to kind of see to have some understanding of what is the end result that you will attain when you do your practice. So if you have a good understanding of what you are going to achieve at the end of your practice, then that will kind of really strongly boost the energy of your desire or interest. And so from that, there's an immense benefit, in engaging in the whatever practice you do. So the point here is that it is important to kind of, to kind of have understand, contemplate, or maybe meditate, on the benefits of, compassion. Why compassion is important, why altruistic mind or awakening mind is, important. So in that text or scriptures, we find that even meditating or contemplating for short moment on altruistic mind, if you look at the benefit of that short moment of meditation on altruistic mind, if that benefit has a form or shape, it is the entire universe would be still kind of small to fit. So that kind of shows the immense result that we attain from using kind of altruistic mind. And so with that kind of understanding, it is important ourselves not to kind of influenced by laziness of all kinds, such as procrastination or maybe discouragement. So and for that, it is important to kind of sort of energize yourself mentally, and it would be helpful to read this kind of subject matter, such as Shantideva's book Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. Entire first chapter deals with the benefit or advantages of bodhicitta, the altruistic mind, and that also deals with kind of different types of altruistic minds, such as relative and ultimate altruistic mind. And so here, it's also kind of helpful, the book that we are studying in the mind training, kind of generally thinking about what are the benefits of mind training. And so mind training, as we mentioned in earlier kind of teachings, basically mind training is training your mind in such a way that it becomes really kind of, instead of, narrow, self-cherishing, egoistic mind, it becomes really broad, broad and extended towards, other sentient beings, and we use like a space like, other sentient beings, basically unlimited numbers of sentient beings. And last time we talked about, the text deals with the using an example how difficult to attain, this precious human life. Now we will continue with the reading. The next section in which text deals with using a kind of, from the perspective of end result, why human life is precious or sacred.
Oda dirin divikuni nyeparka wasita ngaranzo milu rimbuche seade. Chitang milu zam tobala kabore de segyo mare. Ta chik ngone dengin dembe mizi kya wala ngone semlen gyuje tane mizi ke gu ware. Semlen gyuaje tane. Din rawe chik sangpe lungaki kunjudeya zampe kunjuji thone chik yao dindi indugala dindi ta chik karsore kem kemorum sungdo thana 지 무슨지 세발라 차슈슈 쟁인지 미지기 다 오늘 미디 다지 오늘 세와 빵비 강사라 문진전은 초그리 이제 송도와 오다 딘디지 미요와라 다 미지라 다 다저니에 가세 바절 와 딘디지라 잡나 마셔요 말 딘디 니가라 디 승기인든지도 와 딘디기다 밀리드 터발라 딱 가버리 이제 세계 얼마다 밀리 터바 지나 밀리 터발라 가버리서 깨지 시려 말에 최저야라 콤바이용이 최적이 남자들 내면 남자들 다다 미 남자들 다다 즉예 등인데 미미지게야라 게트야 딘디 밀리드 터야 가버리 제 순고로 와다 딘디 니가라 와다 딘 디비거니 녀버 가야돼 나카르 순고르잖아 디비거니 녀버가왜 삼바니스 지릉안송 숨도 로와니 망라스 다 정안송 숨슬레 냐와 이다 둔로 다 디순고라 대나는 망쇼 냐와레 숭도아 장세 망쇼 냐와기 거래 가르자는 미 빅바 지당 다조 지당 꾸네 나오게 또 최초적인데 냐와기 거래 아니 지당 도차 꾸네 나니 아니 지 네판 딩상인지 다 이달기 거래 티무 군인라네 네바 충상인지 다즉 거기 이제 돈로기 거래 근데 이거라 네바 또 최소 상간의 망이여 인상 냐외 체제제링이 냐외네 냐와 깽인데 망아 되니 이 텔링용이 이다 텔링용이 돈로를 쓰고 나송숨나네 근데 이거라 나랑 띠다 용토니 삼노다나 파셔 하고야래 나랑도 미도라 롱저디가라 얘긴 거고 말해 라면 거고 말해 즉 마음 슈슈게 나저 롱용도가라 마음 슈슈는 미게 쳐대 샘 창가게 될레페나 창가게 용되기도 와 딩고 탑들라 시오지까지 용도 와 딩두가랑 수수 뇽에 터네 시네 개외 쳐라 곰바 뇽시 미개외 쳐들라 곰바 망시거든 뇽토니 즉 삼도는 하과에서도 와다 디 메건게 뭐가 선수네 깽인데 망어요레스 둘이게 될라니 뇽와스 둘이 시디가라다 하마인 라미 와다 덴데기 메레 깽인데 뇽뇽레스 다 개버도 둘이게 센나니 개버도 둘이게 센랑 미콤베 예단 달웨 된 레베 떼기용 스타 미콤베 예 그상 로선 갈켄다 달웨체니 갈켄 예단 달웨체니 달와 퉁게 저와 주상을 원이 아니 즉 달와 독스 단저 최적의 세야데 독수 숨도 와다 된데게 텔링 용용레스 숨데 다미 텐진 텐디기 남치 여니 사기 고방라 트라이 용에 미디 용용레스 승거마다 지단에 용용레스 까 시고 말 미코란다 점불린 디 왕도 집에 밀라 둥줄 둥게서 같이 시기도 와. 민 둥줄 둥게 용용 말와. 어떻게 시고 말. 다들 같이다. 다 연지지단다. 최 켈랭은 밀랭안에 개밀랭게 가져도 랭엔 안에 이 최추지적인 최다배 대바 짱도 다 최세라 다하게 니만다 다와라서 봤는데 규제내 겨도 된데기 배 님에게 쫓대베 대삼기 니만다 다와라 차차야 된데기 줄루지요. 안 좀다 옆에 원 줄루지요. 안 좀다 옆에 줄로나는 지든 고법은등에 민들기 대파참 지내는 동에 와다 된데기 좀 줄루요. 대나네 남바 들라야 남바 라인이 인테레바 아니 독스지네 테면마다 대진바지 대진 받나니 켈랭인데 뉴뉴 대나니 대진 켈랭바이나 더룽 대진나니 직파기 직 수지 적인데 텔 뉴뉴르도 와 님의 karma 어라 맞아 게 님이 karma 소리지 다 뉴 착 쉬우지 다 오늘 최 시베고네 최 수지 적인데 어떻게 뉴뉴 착도 와 어디도 없으네 예세 당과대 쉬우지 예세지 당 투에 있나 다들 유니 쉐겨대 다들 오늘이야 삼삼지 샘네 차 유용해야지 용해야지 차고 때마다 미삼지다 망보여라 아마 다들 내가 쉐디가라 나는 감초라 네 딘디 쉐디가라니 미치게 최년에 라마지게 최she디가 라마 코나베 상해 말레브레스 상해라는 미 강리어레스 뒤까지 쉐고 말해 어디 대존이지까지 과차바이나 배트가만 되고 어디 미 수지적인 뉴뉴리 세베 대외장 뉴라 케퍼도 달와 톰네 담배 취라 로카 초바 님의 karmachin shepherd 제네 델터 ton치 니가웨 달저 밀리름보치 토베 뛴들 닝보 랜드 고투마니 헤고라 세 고투마스 삼로 타고르 리고네 삼로타네 에니베 겐디기타 달랭 아선 딘디지 톱 잘가와 상기기 템바름 붙이는 잘 태가와 람게 신긴다 태 유상 딘디지 태가도 다오네 가서 가진 소수 센데 야게 당겨 엄마 보다 독수전에 삼다네 즉 타고를 리고르는 삼다지 두시네 제국그레세 덴들라 님볼 렌루경 질 담배 취 두고데 세워다 담배 취 쓰도와 진나 담배 취 두고데 대왕도 진 동안 민들비 치로 스타 취 두고야 돼 맞죠 대왕 누구 와 동안 민들 누구 말와 대왕 누구에나 대위 유 대왕 두고 와 동안 민들나 동안지 유 미가와 빵고 거라마다 미가와 땅둘라니 대왕 두고 있나 가르쳐버다 건도 차고 어다 대순 거라 대 유전 고도 담배 치주고 괴대 대왕 되진 동안 민들비 치로 세대 유전 대 고도 네 괴경 누이삼 냠나 신도야 누이데스 어다 디 송도 안 가져 대왕 되고야래 대와 강 대왕 되비 유데 맞춰 좀 누그레베 누그레 대 가르스 누그레스나 샘기라지 어서와래 세다 샘기라지 어서와 디만네 루프 와서데 다 파게 유라메나라 디 송도와 어다 디마 루프와래 샘기라지 어서와래 참바다 니제도 아니 샘기 연전리 샘라 데룬 수디야래 이 코티 수디야라 다 디 using 뉴그레스 치킨 대바침베다 디나양 뉴비 유전데 디수도 치킨 대바침베 게 신긴다 자징 난기켄 다저게 리센 장보단 미치로 세다다 달 와게 저와조 계산잔 덴데기 덴데다 아니 데마스베 난기켄 따기 유라마게 때주잖아 만디 된 싸우니요 말에 어다 직 샘기라지 어서와 디만네 루브로와 디만 루브로와 인도가라 직고 맞은 배지지나 고생해요. 맞아 가서다 직 둘러지나 잡박 걸나 잡바데 트위나 다에 인인지나 디 트지 갭지 트위네니 다니 공부하러 와 다에 윤명인지 트위나 가르쳐 미저 가르라 그래 가르사면 고 그래 어떻게 소리지래 다야 그 루브로 왔으니까 그 배트가 그 라신은 내봐 아니 타싱아이 용인지라 루브로 왔으니까 어다 경고는 뭐 제대송도 루브로 했겠대 년배 접으로 인상 루브로 와래스 루브로 왔을 때 단단 점포선 시까지 시기입니다 점포 톱대가 랭엔다라 맞아 루브로 레슨도 까지 시기어데 단단 디마 루브로 왔을 루브로 와데 그 디마 톱대가 레베까 참 말해스 디마데 딱 kiwa thoma mabana nga so kompa yene kin chabi yorede ko tasinga ye insa ko lupur wa rese sungdo oda tere jawi chiro ten zambutan den bichiro diang kiwa chime kapsu tuwe chi 초 명냐나 어디다 양 또보 본 리버트 순션 때는 치료
if you have a book, it's on page 25. A contemplation of the rarity of finding such a human life according to the difficulty of obtaining the result. Here, when we talk about, the precious human rebirth, as we mentioned in earlier teachings, it doesn't refer to simply, human rebirth. Precious human rebirth refers to human being who can kind of have or transform one's life into something really meaningful, and such as His Holiness used an example of somebody who is really uncomfortable, even kind of taking a life of small insects. That shows that his sort of intensity of compassion, caring of life of others. We will read from the text, contemplating of the rarity of finding such human life according to the difficulty of obtaining the result. In general, the beings in the three bad rebirths are many. In the earlier teachings, we also discussed about human, the 8 ledgers and 10 endowments, and basically a human body with the kind of right intelligence, and one with the ledger to engage in Buddhist practice. So here, bad rebirths, as you know, 3 lower rebirths refers to the animal realm, and then hungry ghost or hell, hungry ghost and hell. And among these 3, the primary cause for the rebirth in this lower realm is rebirth in the hell realm. Primarily the cause is hatred or anger, and a primary cause for rebirth in the hungry ghost, attachment, and primary cause for rebirth in the animal realm, ignorance. And among these, population-wise, it is considered that the hell being most populated, and then less, is hungry ghost, and the smallest sort of in terms of population is the human population, animal population. And so these 3, the classifications is really based on the intensity of the negative mind. The stronger negative minds, the more population. So one way of understanding these 3 is when we look at our own our own experiences. When we look at our own kind of natural sort of behavior or personality, to create negative activities or indulge in the negative or destructive or non-virtuous activities, when we reach to the right kind of age, we don't need to learn performing negative or destructive or non-virtuous activity comes up sort of really naturally within our mind, so systematic, so well organized, so kind of complete. But on the other hand, creating a positive activity is not the same way. It requires immense effort, organizing, but that's not the case with, however, not the case with the negative, sort of behavior or destructive behavior. So, in the text, among those with high status, the high status here refers to a higher rebirth, a human, and then God, and then semi-God, kind of loose translation. Among those with high status, in particular, it is rare to find those who are free from the 8 states without leisure. So this refers to the the 8 leisures, which we discussed in the earlier in this book. 8 leisures are called 8 leisures because 8 obstacles to practice, the Buddhism were kind of absence of 8 obstacles. And having facilities, 10 facilities, there are 10 endowments. Moreover, even amongst those who have found freedom and opportunity, those who are inclined towards the holy doctrine are as numerous as stars in the daytime. So what this says is that even among a human rebirth, those who are inclined towards doing a serious Buddhist practice, genuine Buddhist practice, in terms of number or population, it's so rare. It's rare like the stars during the daytime. And when you look at the generally population of human, more than like 7 billion, so we say it's a lot of people. But when we really look into more closer among those population, how many of them are considered as a believer or spiritual practitioners, and even when they consider themselves as a believer or spiritual practitioners or religious, what kind of religious practice that they are doing. And we have a religion or spiritual practice where they kind of do practice like offering or fire rituals, such as one small example. And then there are a whole another group of a religion or faith or a belief system in which they have a philosophy or tenets. And again, within that we find some more kind of purely based on faith and belief rather than logic or analysis. And within the Buddhism, as different vehicles, higher vehicles, lesser vehicle, and so what we are, when we look at this kind of category, what we are seeing is that even though the population seems to be large, but we are kind of really narrowing down and finding how many true or genuine practitioners there are. And within the Buddhism, higher vehicle, and although people who claim to be practitioners of Mahayana, but if you look at them and how seriously they are practicing, still the number goes less. Less people who are seriously, genuinely engaged in the practice of Mahayana. So in that's the sense here. That's why people who are genuinely, seriously engaged in the Mahayana teachings is very kind of really kind of small number, just as like a stars during the daytime. So here one shouldn't have a misunderstanding, as we have mentioned this example story before. One time a Lama was giving a teaching in Kham Eastern area, and one of the audiences that the Lama was giving a teaching on how difficult and rare to find a human rebirth, and that audience, he kind of not actually understanding what Lama was saying. He said that it looks like that Lama has never been to Shanghai city, because Shanghai, Chinese city, one of the most populated. So he was thinking that it's just a human body. So that's not sense here or not understanding here, even though we use kind of precious human rebirth, but it refers to human rebirth with those 8 leisures and 10 endowments, and who has a genuine, serious interest in practice, and can transform one's life into a very meaningful way. And that kind of human kind is very rare. And so let's continue with the reading here. Appreciating that the precious state of leisure and opportunity that we have found on this occasion is very meaningful and difficult to find, we must find the ways and means to generate the wish to extract its essence. So, after having mentioned about how it is difficult to attain human rebirth, and how how kind of valuable, how rare this human opportunity is. The text says that we should be doing our best, whatever way that we can, to really kind of extract, try to get the the essence of this human rebirth, so that we won't waste this human rebirth with all this ability, or so when we attain this precious human rebirth, the kind of the situation is that we have access to these great scriptures and text. We encountered, great spiritual masters, and you yourself, you have a kind of intelligence and ability to differentiate, to discriminate, to analyze, to experiment, examine. So you have all facilities that is needed to make this human life best as it could be, most meaningful as could be. So this is what we should be doing, when we are in this kind of proper situation and circumstances. So here this talks about two kind of circumstances, outside, internal and external. In a broad sense, extracting the essence means to practice the holy doctrine, or practice a Buddhist teaching here. This is because we want happiness and dislike suffering. So one of the bottom line reason used here is that why we need to be engaged in the practice, and why we should be using our all intelligence and all kind of the facilities that we have to make this human life meaningful. One of the bottom kind of the reason is because we want happiness and we don't want suffering. So if that is the case, then in order to have achieve happiness, we should be planting the seed of happiness. And without doing something which give us the result of happiness, simply kind of wishing, and it doesn't make us happy. So for that purpose, doing something what we call positive activities, or constructive behavior, or virtuous activities, or good karma. So these are the things that we should be kind of adopting. And on the other hand, we should be abstaining, doing or creating negative behavior, non-virtuous behavior, destructive behavior. So the underlying reason is we want happiness and not suffering. So if you engage in creating a negative activities or non-virtuous, obviously the result will be suffering and a problem, and that's that thing that we don't want. If any doubt arises about our ability to practice the doctrine, reflect on such external conditions such as presence of spiritual friends of the great vehicle, and the opportunities for meeting them, and internal condition of possessing this free and fortunate body as a basis. So after having said that this is we should be extracting the essence of human rebirth and make this a meaningful life. So if you ask yourself this question, am I capable of this or not? Am I prepared or not? So the text gives here the answer. Of course you are. Because when you look at the external as well as the internal, conditions, you are fully sort of prepared. Externally, you have access to teachings. You can study, practice, learn. You have a great spiritual friends, spiritual teachers, and teachings of the Mahayanas. And so those are all external facilities that that you can use or implement for your practice. And internal, here it says that you possess this very kind of free and fortunate body, this human intelligence, human body, not like any other animals which doesn't have this intelligence. And we can also here think about the very most importantly the power of the mind itself. As we always quote from the Sublime Continuity, the tantric texts, that the nature of the mind is luminous and knowing, and all afflictions and defilements are temporary. So here so understanding the true nature of the mind itself. When you understand the nature of the mind, understanding that the nature of the mind itself is pure, clean, luminous, knowing, all the afflictions, or the negative mentality, anger, hatred, attachment, jealousy, these are all temporary. So here the Tibetan word lopur, sometimes it could means it has a meaning of spontaneous, suddenly or immediately. But here the meaning is, as His Holiness explains, it means that if you use an antidote, this can be purified, so negative afflictions. And so it would be like we have a cloth that dirty cloth, and if you wash it, it will become clean. And so if you know that it is going to be clean, and then obviously we will engage in washing it. Otherwise, a piece of cloth which is dirty, and if it is not going to clean after washing, And still, if you try to watch it, it would be really kind of sort of really strange, and it doesn't kind of logically works that way. So, therefore, with understanding, all these positive factors and ability, definitely we can we have ability, we can do this. If you think of postponing.
치만디 다저리 니에카와 치고 스타 딘데위 개와 치만 딘디 밀리 단단히 터베나지 밀리지 덤비도 미소래 와 간디시 미소래 같이 귤랄레 여리 체리 레리 마다요 말 미게 치쳐 레리 칸디요 곰바 침보요 곰바 침보에 디 치갈라가 치시 참모 좀 연디가라 세네 세방이 솔때 연비가 레 미가 와지는 솔때용 레게 와지는 솔때용 아주 미소래 집대 지 단디 술 겨와 치마 밀리 토발라 술이 남바다 비시수 말음 제만데 섬자 어다 지수 파시 쭉 있냐면 제거래 일단은 가서 가서 지기도 나랑도 라로라로 건줄 말해 상로지 땅나 소바티기도 와 니마지는 추정이 시대지야. 추정이 시대지 나라 룸마델라 샘 야인도 가져야 지다고. 니게 졸라 샘 가져야 지다고. 왜 졸라 샘 가져야 지다고. 니 초바지 제다. 라라라 건줄 말해. 겨치마 밀리토야 두다 민도 디니 다지치는 거. 디인지는 디지도 디 송도. 겨치마니 다중에 가비 치고 없어. 어떻게 더 카버를 깨끗하게 타지도 송도와 이 문이 야부도와 또 소송다니 또 수직 근디 시험다나 또서 뱀 뭐야 직제 대양 로 다와 치만을 주게 처음에 드링만 쟤는 지금 말와 되는 제거입니다. 내가 좀배 나중에 단신 슈추고 예예로 와. 이니가 나와지마. 로지마 지난 디그로 와. 디체고 왜 나야. 디체는 디그로 와서는 대양 미로데스. 질치왕이신 남실에 참여 비치고. 어 최진은 단단이지. 세송도 공단하는 거지. 와다 대선이 최전도 제거래. 세송은. 가르치니. 맞죠? 상 물레레용. 요치마 물레레용. 와서 남지 차요. 세디 윤도 가서 네 넘치다 참여봐 아니 치위 튕게 망 치위 갈진 망 튕긴 대야 갈진 수로야 여 인사 넘치다 참여서 어디 뒤인데 어디 땡기지네 아니 배 치체나 단단한 제거래 어디도 수는 거야
If you think of postponing your practice until future lives, remember that it is hard to find such leisure and opportunity again. The importance of the practice, and if you have this kind of thought that I'm going to practice in future life, believing in the rebirth system, and this lifetime I will spend mostly for what is needed for this lifetime. So here, very decisively, the author says that there is no guarantee that you're going to attain this kind of human rebirth again in future, which has full facilities or abilities. There's no, very difficult to attain. And the reason why, it is difficult to attain another good human rebirth or precious human rebirth is, you look at your own kind of practice or way of life, how much you are doing something that could result in a good rebirth. And when we look at our own self, as we mentioned earlier, looking back and how we are doing in this lifetime, we have tendency or to kind of incline more towards creating or falling in the activities of negative deeds or negative action. And so at the time of dying, if you have a more negative tendencies, more negative mental imprints, the connection to the next life would be more chance to having a not human rebirth. And so to attain a human rebirth, generally the understanding is that you have a good foundation of good moral conduct or moral discipline, and connecting next rebirth with the practice of six perfections, and then making kind of concluding prayer. So these are three features that usually is needed to attain another human rebirth. And when we look at ourselves, for example, in 24 hours, how many hours are we spending our mind generating positive thoughts? And so when we do that, we usually kind of, it's not one's mind is not hidden to oneself. We know how much you are doing, what you are doing, and on top of that, the text here says that if you think of putting off your practice for some months or years, this is also mistaken, because although death is assured, its time is uncertain. Procrastination, doing tomorrow, day after tomorrow. This happens, for ordinary people because of our strong grasping of what we call sense of permanent. That I'm not going to die today, I'm not going to die tomorrow, not next week. So we have somehow that kind of feeling within us that sort of I'm staying for a long time. But that kind of guarantee that we are giving ourselves, he's saying that there is no guarantee actually. In fact, like a great master scholar like Kungdan Rinpoche says that for ordinary people, there's really no certainty whether tomorrow comes first or death comes first. That kind of the understanding or impermanence. So generally, when we look at our lifestyle, we consider that there are a lot of things that for your reason to stay along, many years, that I have all these factors and conditions that would support my life, my life. And if you look at things out there that is supposed to be helping and supporting our the sort of longevity, there are actually more kind of potential life-taking conditions and factors out there. And within that, there are the things or whatever that is supposed to be supporting our longevity is small, and even within that, the things and factors that is supposed to be supporting factor like food, many things, could easily become a source of our kind of death and dying. So there is the feeling that that I have enough time, and then not doing and postponing is saying here it's really kind of mistaken thought. And so the point here is that if you are doing a practice, it should be doing right now.
준주 나와서 지신 남한에 가는 거 지신이 로에 동화서 생겼어요. 직대에 전주 선조를 뭐지 마게 받나 껴와님 밤에가 꼬노꼬노 태워서 아 때문에 전주 있음라 하기 파인드지 되지 공도 주주 되지 파인드 소리지 로라 네바지네 아니 간장지 과시차 아니 지이나 아니 껴와 ngchi yugoya da hajiko du se hagone dinim siteli sindilji tos tena dini semno bulge gay ngoro temada khabore da gemgormuchi keranzu ngaranzu gangata gemgormuchi ken sonji dire da gemgormuchi chanju semna tendiji ki disunda ani pe 지신놈 간에 바는 로아트 신이네 니 자데네 베 방주에 니베 전착 실기도 같은 실기오래 경고를 뭐지 농알 파도메 베여베근 전착 실기오 말에 신 전주 셈라 좋아하니 전주기 셈싱인데 시부진들이 가라 좋아하게 마서기지 니 투 마서지니 니시 하자 공변들은 투기 맞아 아니 전착실이오래 전주선을 도와니나 만다신 거예요 어디 유튜브는 도와 어디 디기디 따당 펜도용 그래 어디 도수래 디인디가랑 잠깐 냠는 줘야 돼 군소 생계 당 돈남 생계 생계 넘버 2대 어디 직 누만이 랭이 셈데 미남 짝해야지 당 아니 돈담 생겼을 동이도 별 따와라 가장 못하고네 나랑도 낭출들라 삼르지단 떼고네 아니 동반이 스리가라 한신기 쪽에 동반마다 자매기 동발라 고마 초를 맞추지네 자매 동발라 고 말해지네 나랑 낭출들 나신지요 말에 땐템바래 유긴 초바 망고질 때는 쪼바래 차시 망고질 때는 쪼바래 두스지니 가장 어처베거니 직 삼르지다와이나 오라 돈이라 과 차베가네 돈이 깨지지기 유점질라 디제나 실버푸도 그래서도 이가변 숨도와 근데 르바 아리알 대화기 자준난 거야 규정이야 말이 와지 차네 이거라 지나 땡땡디 실버푸도 거마다 돈이 칸에 라저기 실버푸도야 가버려 어떤 이거라 동이 레과자 카드요래 나랑좀 백하고도 와 가정문제 해라 가고 싶어도 와니 게임도 송그리 니라 리파주니 니니 라 나사 땅땅으로도 삼당 거래스 대 동이라 과시 차그리서 송도 와 리시부지 nem버에 와다 되리 자주기 심기 문제 연락도 ngura chao se ta du sene ta jnya ga de chat sare ta
So now at the end of this section the text tells the how to take the essence and and what is the practice that one should be doing. It reads among the ways of taking the essence the familiarizing yourself with the awakening mind or the altruistic mind or the bodhicitta.
양이한도 지 연락도 보고는 차사야 돼 쉽게 좀 잘 거랬어
engaging or familiarizing yourself with the altruistic mind is the principle and the most excellent practice that one can do to make this human life meaningful. And to do that, you should engage in the preliminaries for the training in the awakening mind. So, preliminaries such as the 7-limb or 7-branch practices. For example, when you get up in the morning, try to reflect on the meaning of, altruistic mind. Spend some time on meditation, doing a recitation such as, the short recitations of altruistic mind. The precious, altruistic mind, may it be generated in the mind those who haven't had it, and may it be maintained and preserved in the mind those who already has it, and may it be further kind of promoted and developed in the mind of those who are practicing. And the another recitations like as His Holiness often does, as long as space abides as long as the suffering of the sentient beings remains. May I too remain to dispel the suffering of sentient beings. And when His Holiness kind of recite these kind of short words, you might have seen in like a YouTube video where His Holiness was literally kind of crying, with this extreme kind of emotional, becoming extreme emotional by when reciting this. So it really shows the power of the compassion and the altruistic, and he can actually feel the power of this altruism, understanding or feeling of the other sentient beings' suffering, and also in the for the altruistic mind, as the two common type, relative and ultimate, altruistic mind, and ultimate altruistic mind here, refers to the understanding of emptiness, and emptiness in a sense, not just kind of nothingness or absence of something, but rather a lack of true nature, lack of intrinsic nature. That the existence of any phenomena or things, depending on different factors and conditions, interdependent. So these are the understanding that one has to have for the emptiness. And when you have an understanding, or even just a glimpse of emptiness, one can totally kind of stay away or eliminate the free from cyclic existence, as Arya they were mentioning in his text, 400 stanzas. And of course, the understanding of emptiness is not that simple. It requires understanding of what is the object of negation and how it is empty. But it requires kind of regular, effort, as Geshe-la's teachers used to say that one needs to make effort until one has kind of pain in the heart. So working really hard to make this happen. And with that, we finish the part on the preciousness or rarity of human rebirth.
That's what you should know.
We'll take a break here, 15 minutes break.